Good morning. We've arrived at Monday already, and I welcome you to my 6 a.m. Monday morning chair yoga. This week we are continuing in the study of the chakras, and tonight in meditation we will be studying Svadisthana, or the Sacral Chakra, located between the belly button and the top of the pubis, so right here in the center, around the same location as your hip bones and your sacroiliac joints sitting on your back. This chakra is connected to things like our fertility, our digestion, our creativity, our entering of relationships. And so I will be focusing routines this week on encouraging the opening of this chakra, or the balancing of this chakra through certain poses, many of which may be similar to those that we did in Muladhara, the root chakra, because of the region of the body. So you'll see grounding poses, and you will see twisting poses, and you will see poses that open up the hips. A lot of hip opening work that we're going to be doing this week. Can't see her, but there's Nuni. Nuni's been joining me for the chair yoga classes because she's well behaved when I'm sitting on a chair. If I was on the floor, it might be a different story. So I'm inviting you now to get yourself seated in your comfortable chair. So I choose a dining room chair. It's a little tall for me though. If you look, if I turn to the side, you can see that my feet my heels don't touch the floor. So rather than go and look for a different chair, because I could get a folded chair. A lot of people use folded chair for chair yoga. I just take a set of blocks and I place my feet firmly on the blocks. This allows me to be very ergonomic as I sit in my chair. It allows me to ground into my chair. It allows my chair to be a nice stable base. I do encourage a chair on top of a mat for a couple of reasons. One, we don't want the chair to slide at all. We will have poses that we do frequently in chair yoga where our feet are pushing against the floor, and it could push the chair aside. We also get out of the chair and often use the chair for some poses where we are using the chair for support, but we are actually on the mat. So I encourage the use of a mat whenever we do chair yoga. So without delay, I would like you to sit back firmly in your chair. So pushing your shoulder blades back against the back of the chair. Inhale your shoulders up, and then pull them back and down your spine. Having your hands on your thighs, just close your eyes and begin to get into the breath. Breathing in and out of your nose. The breath starting, moving from the belly. Feeling the belly expand and then contract. Expanding on the inhale, and then contracting on the exhale, pulling the belly button in against the spine. Now I would like you to start to grow your breath. And we do that by beginning to engage other parts of our body in the breathing process. So you'll expand your belly and then expand your ribs. And then next expand your belly, then your ribs, then Widen your collarbones as you expand your chest. Now concentrate on growing your breath from the base of your spine all the way to the crown of the head. Exhale. Let's do that again. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Let's do one final full yogic breath. Inhaling. And then exhaling. Go ahead and sit up further towards the front of your chair. You don't have to sit on the edge, but my thighs are about halfway to the edge of the chair. Go ahead and inhale your arms up as you rise your breath to the crown of your head. And then exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale your hands down to your heart center. Inhale. Exhale, fold over your legs. Initially just resting on your thighs, drawing your heart center forward. Allow your hands to fall down to your feet and then drop your crown. Inhale, lift up your head. Exhale, drop your crown. Inhale, reverse your swan dive by raising your hands out to the side, lifting up your back nice and straight. Inhaling all the way up to the top. And then exhale your hands back down and to the center of your heart. Inhale. Exhale your hands down and then inhale your hands up. Exhale, swan dive forward, resting on your thighs to start. Dropping your hands to your feet, dropping the crown of your head. Inhale your head up, straightening out your back, drawing the crown of your head forward. Exhale down. Inhale, reverse swan dive, all the way up. And then exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Inhale. Exhale your hands down, then inhale your hands up. Exhale, hands out to the side as you lay your torso across your legs. Drop your hands to your feet. Inhale into a flat spine, drawing the crown of your head forward. And then exhale down. And then inhale all the way back up. And then exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Go ahead and shift your weight from one side of the chair, from the middle to one side. So I'm shifting my weight to the right, placing my left hand on the left side of the chair. In the screen, this may look like the right side to you. Inhale, bring your hand out to the side, and then bring it over alongside your right ear as you engage in Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose seated. And we're just stretching out our right side, tacking our right hip down to the chair,
as we bring our hand at a diagonal alongside our ear across to the other side of the room. Go ahead and open up your heart center by rotating your right shoulder back, keeping your arm alongside your right ear. And just enjoy this gentle stretch, opening up the side body. Inhale, reach your hand. And then exhale, bring your right hand down. Scoot over to the other side of the chair. Placing my right hand on the chair, sitting up nice and tall. Bring my left hand out to the side and over on the inhale. Tacking my left hip down to the chair, drawing my right shoulder back to open up my heart center. Now, one of the things that is nice to know is that when we have low back tension or pain or hip pain, some of it is tied to tightness in your side waist. So the more that we open up the whole torso, the more we help the back. Inhale, reach. And then exhale, pull your left shoulder slightly back to open up your heart center. Inhale, reach. And then exhale, drop your hand down. Go ahead and move back to the center of your chair. Sit up nice and tall. And again, just get into that breath. Breathe a little bit more forcefully than you did when you began your breath at the beginning of practice. Bringing rich oxygen into the body. Inhale. Exhale. I'm going to do what we call cow-cat or cat-cow. So again, moving a little bit to the front of your seat so that you have room for your torso to open up and move backwards. Place your hands on your thighs. They can be also on your knees, whatever you like best in terms of your hand position, but definitely keep your shoulders down and back and away from your ears while you do that. So always resist rolling your shoulders when you are sitting up nice and tall. Inhale, exhale. On the inhale, bring your belly through, pull your shoulders back and down. Allow your pelvis bowl to shift backwards. So your tailbone is lifting slightly off the chair. And then on the exhale, reverse that to cat by rounding your back towards the back of the chair, bringing your shoulders forward, bringing your chin down to your chest, getting as much of a stretch out of your back as you can, tilting your tailbone forward. Inhale, bring your heart center through, pulling your shoulders down and back, pulling your tailbone back in space. And then exhale, reverse that order. Inhale, bring your heart center through, bring your tailbone up and back. And then exhale, reverse that order. Pulling your back towards the back of the chair, tilting your tailbone forward, chin to chest. Inhale, bring your belly forward, heart center forward, pulling your shoulder blades back and down, opening up your heart center, opening up your throat. And then exhale, reverse that order. One more inhale, pulling your heart through, pulling your shoulders back and down, opening up the throat. And then exhale, reverse that order. A nice way to open up the body. Move a little bit forward in your chair. Sit up nice and tall. Inhale your shoulders up to your ears. And exhale them back down on your back, pulling your shoulder blades together as you do so. Inhale, bring your shoulders forward, bring them up to your ears. And then exhale, bring them back down on your shoulder and your back. Inhale, bring your shoulders forward, up to your ears. And then exhale, bring them back and down. One more inhale, up to the ears. And then exhale, bring your shoulders back and then down. Let's reverse that order. Bringing your shoulders back and then up. And then exhale, bring them forward and down. Inhale, bring them back and up. And then exhale, forward and down. And then inhale, bring them back and up. And exhale, bring them forward and down. One more in that. Inhale, back and up. And then exhale, forward and down. Sit up nice and tall again. Let's just shrug our shoulders up and down. Get into that sensation of just moving our shoulders, warming them up. Maybe you want to move one up and down versus the other. Maybe you want to do circles with them. Whatever you feel good about. And go ahead and allow your torso to move with you, creating a little bit of movement, gentle movement this morning. Nice. Let's take our hands out to the sides. Create a claw-like look with your hands, like you're grabbing a doorknob. And we have our morning students. I'm going to go ahead and pin myself. And that way, on the recording, everybody sees me. Good morning, nice to see you. We've already done our shoulder warm up. We've done our cat-cows. We have not done our neck rolls yet. We've done a little bit of half sun salutations and some breath work. So go ahead and take your hands out to the side like you're clawing a doorknob and just twist your arms back and forth. Just warming up the shoulder joints. I can feel a little bit of clicking in my left elbow, so I must have a little bit of tightness in my left shoulder this morning. This is good for me because today my agenda is painting this beautiful room that we're in. It's going to still be yellow because I like yellow, but it needs a fresh coat of paint. The walls are, it's probably been, I assume, over 5 years since this room was painted, probably more like 8 or 10. And it's a flat paint, so it's got some scuff marks, and it just could use some brightness, and we're going to paint the ceiling white. All righty, go ahead and let that down. Let's go ahead and do some neck rolls. Make your spine nice and long, creating lots of space. Pulling your solar plexus muscles in, pulling your shoulder blades back and down, creating as much space as you can, opening up your energy channels from the root of your spine all the way to the crown of the head. Inhale, and then exhale, drop your chin. Inhale, raise your head and tilt your head back. Exhale, drop your chin. Inhale, lift your head and tilt it all the way back. And then exhale, drop your chin. Inhale, raise your head and tilt it all the way back. And then exhale, drop your chin. Inhale to neutral. Inhale, turn your head to the right. And then exhale, slowly turn your head to the left. And then inhale to the right and keep going back and forth slowly. One more inhale to the right. And then exhale to neutral. Inhale. Exhale, drop your left ear to your left shoulder. Inhale, rise to neutral. Exhale, drop your right ear to your right shoulder. Inhale to neutral. And then exhale to the left, dropping your ear to your shoulder. Inhale, rise to neutral. Exhale to the right,
dropping your right ear to your shoulder. And then rise up your head. And this may be, some people can really drop their ear close to their shoulder. They have a long neck. And honestly, it doesn't seem to have that kind of mobility. So it's important in yoga that we recognize our individual differences and that we don't try to do with our body specifically what somebody else is doing with their body. It's nice to check in with the instructor, and sometimes we can't resist the urge to glance around the room, and sometimes that gives us hints and clues as to what we should be doing. But what's really important is that you know how you should feel inside your own body. Go ahead and rise up into neutral. Now we're going to do some neck rolls. Go ahead, inhale. Exhale, drop your chin, and then inhale to the right. When you arrive at the back, exhale to the left. Inhale to the left. When you arrive at the back, exhale to the right. Inhale to the right. As you arrive at the back, exhale to the left. Inhale to the left. And then exhale to the right. Inhale to the right. And then exhale to the left when you arrive at the back. And then inhale to the left. At the back, change that to an exhale as you go down to the right. Very nice. Rise up and just take note of how you might be feeling different for having done those neck rolls. Sometimes we find ourselves with sticking points. The shoulders take a lot of stress. And I emphasize the importance when we are sitting and standing in all things in life. Really try to pull your shoulders away from your ears and down. Can you hear me okay, Simon? Thumbs up? Oh, good. Okay. So pull your shoulders back and down always. Create a lot of space. And when you have shoulder pain, neck pain, even head pain, check in with your hips and ask yourself, how are my hips today? So we're going to turn our attention towards the hips, but let's do a little bit more side body warm up. Let's place our hands in goddess pose, and let's just move our body back and forth, right to left. So inhale to the right, and then exhale to the left, inhale to the right, exhale to the left. And you might feel a little bit of stretching of the hips even while you're doing this because you're pulling these muscles to allow your side waist to move. But this is a nice way to kind of be in space and start integrating some movement of our spine in the morning. And goddess is nice because it strengthens the shoulders and it strengthens the arms, so hold them this way. And let's face it, it's pretty cool looking. Keeping our shoulders down away from our ears, keeping our shoulder blades together on our spine, just moving back and forth. Very nice. Now let's do something kind of fun. We can stand for this next portion, because I think it's nice to be integrating some movement. So just stand in front of your chair. You're getting a nice view of my head from the top of my nose down, right on. Keeping your hips stationary. Just start to move back and forth, allowing your hands like noodles to wrap around your body. Just encouraging some movement of your spine. Very nice. Kind of like our morning calisthenics, huh? But it's a nice way to wake up the body. I love doing gentle yoga first thing in the morning. Encouraging the breath, encouraging some blood flow. Very nice. Very nice. All right, let's find stillness. Let's inhale our hands up.
Exhale them down. Inhale them up. And then exhale. Let's curl down, bending our knees and starting with our chin. Bring our chin to our chest, bend our knees, and curl our body down. Allow our hands to drop to the floor. And then on the inhale, curl the body up. And then rise our hands up at the same time. And then exhale our hands down, drop our chin to chest, rolling down like we rolled up, just in the reverse. Inhale, roll back up. You arrive at the top, inhale your hands all the way up. And then exhale, hands out to the side, dropping the chin, rolling down, curling down as we allow our hands to descend to the floor. And then on the inhale, roll up. Bring our hands out to the side and up into the air. And then exhale and back down. Go ahead and find your seat back in your chair. I'm going to put my blocks back underneath my feet since my chair is a little bit tall for me. Very, very good. So now take, I always recommend now that we're getting into our routine, go ahead, move a little bit forward in your chair and take your right leg and pull it up to your chest. And just hug it as tight as you can. You can wrap your arms around it and just hug it, hug it, hug it. Create that little bit of a pinch in your right hip as you hug it next to you. And just keep on hugging it, keeping your shoulder blades back and down, sitting up nice and tall. Very, very nice. And then go ahead and place that leg back down, pick up your left leg, and let's do the same thing. Hugging it very tightly up against our chest, sitting up nice and tall, creating a little bit of a pinch in your left hip. Very good. Now let's do something we haven't done before, but let me move my coffee out of the way so I don't spill my coffee. Let's place our feet on the floor and kind of separate our legs. Okay, I'm actually going to move my blocks back and out of the way for this one. Okay, so let's, what I want you to focus on is sitting up nice and tall and using the muscles in your back and in your middle thighs here in the center of your thighs. Just open up your legs, open them as wide as you can, pulling those sits bones pulling your SI joints together on your back, those two dimples on your back, imagining you're pulling those together. Widening as much as you can using all those muscles. And then let's pull it together and kind of curl down. It's kind of like we're doing cat-cow with our hips. Curl down, stretch out the back, pulling your knees together. And then open them back up, sitting nice and tall so you're not pushing your belly through. You're just widening your legs, using the muscles on your back to pull them back. Pulling those muscles right on the back together. Just imagine somebody taking their hands and pulling them together, which is creating this sensation of widening your legs. And then pull them back together again. Go ahead and relax those muscles. And then let's do that one more time. Widening, widening, widening. So you're not pushing with your hands are following. Your knees are widening because you're pulling those muscles together behind your hips. Ah, nice. And then go ahead and curl down. Wow, that's pretty cool. I like that sensation. So let's go ahead. I'm putting my blocks back underneath my chair so I can have my feet in front of me again. Now what I want you to do is lift up your right leg, place your hands underneath your thigh, and let's just have it first right out in front of us, supported by our hands. And let's just start bending and straightening our knee with our toes
flexed up in the air. And just strengthening that muscle on top of the thigh, the quadricep. And this is bringing some blood flow to your hip and strengthening your right leg at the same time. You might be feeling your leg get warm. This is good. Okay, let's switch legs. Place your right leg down. Put your hands underneath your left thigh. Lift up your left thigh and allow it to rest in your hands. Pointing your toes, not really pointing them, flexing your foot really so your toes are facing the ceiling. And then just start bending the knee, straightening the leg, bending the knee, straightening the leg. And just go back and forth. Make sure you keep your shoulders back and down. And like I've got crackly knees. I'm 52. I used to be a pretty active runner. And something like this is probably quite good for me to continue to get fluid moving in my joints. This is good. Okay, let's go ahead and place that one back down. Now I've got a challenge for you. Let's see if you can move your leg out to the side and do that. So you might need to sit a little bit more forward on your chair to accomplish that. Pick up your right leg and pull it out to the side. So it looks a little funny. Don't worry about how funny it looks. And then go ahead while your leg is out to the side and do that same motion. Straightening the leg, bending the knee. The challenge is to sit up tall while you're doing it. Pulling your shoulder blades back and down. Sitting up tall, not rounding your back. And I can feel this working throughout my hips. I can feel it working on my inner thigh. There's a lot going on here. I can feel it in my hip flexors here. We'll do like 3 more of these. And then go ahead and place that leg back down. Pick up your left leg with your left hand, move it out to the side, and then begin straightening your leg, bending your knee. The challenge for you is to sit up nice and tall and pulling your shoulders back and down at the same time, engaging all of your core muscles while you're doing this. I wrote a blog post last night on the lack of core muscles in Americans. Lack of core muscles means back injuries, neck injuries. Everything's in a chain. You know, when people say their elbows hurt, I ask them to check in with their shoulders and their neck. Sure enough, they're probably somehow involved together. Ooh, I can feel this in my hip flexors up here. I can feel it down here. Let's do 3 more of those. 1 more. There you go. Very nice. You hung in for that. Let's do a fun forward stretch by placing our legs out in front of us. So I'm sitting on the edge kind of my chair. Find your way that you're comfortable. My legs are straight in front of me. I'm sitting up good and tall. My feet are flexed so that my toes are facing the ceiling. And just start moving forward. I need to move back a little bit. There we go. Just start moving into your forward fold. You might need to bend your legs in order to have some stability so that you don't feel like you're falling off your chair. And just start bringing your heart center forward. Just keep bringing it forward. And if you feel a lot of tension on the back of your hamstrings and it's too much for you, you just stay here. If you want to go further, you can continue to fold over your legs. Again, just like when you're sitting on the floor doing forward fold, continue to pull your shoulders away from your ears and down your back. And just enjoy this stretch all along your hamstrings. Allow the crown of your head to drop if that's available to you. And then go ahead and rise up. Very nice. Now, if you want to, you can even isolate the stretch of one leg versus the other like we do when we're sitting down. So I've got my foot on a block. If you have a block, that helps. If not, you can just have it flat on the floor, placing my right hand on my thigh. And now I'm able to have that left leg nice and straight because I've got my right foot to anchor me in the chair firmly. And now I can really reach forward, reaching my chest with a nice straight leg. You can even place your left hand on the floor if that is what you want to do. And I'm getting a really nice stretch all on the back of my leg, all along the back of my hip. I see the humidity is returning again. It smells like rain outside, even though I don't think it's going to rain. Okay, go ahead and rise up. I'm going to switch sides with my block here. Place my right foot in front with my toes flexed up towards the sky. Sitting up nice and tall, hanging on to my left leg for support. And I'm going to go ahead and lean into that. This is kind of like a modified runner's lunge, eh? And it really isolates one leg in the back of that hip. And very nice. Rise up. Okay, so I'm going to place my blocks back underneath my feet so I can have proper height and support. Alrighty. Okay, I'm trying to get my blocks even. I've got sort of an obsession with that. Okay, so now why don't we start to engage in some gentle twists. So let's start initially without changing our legs, just turning our body in unison, starting with the belly button. Keep our hips absolutely stationary as we turn our body to the right. So when we're turning our body to the right, all I'm doing is hanging on to my right leg with my left hand, leaving my right hand sitting on my right hip, and just pulling my right shoulder back, keeping my hips absolutely still. Make sure before you twist that your spine is nice and long, pulling the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. Let's go ahead and return to neutral and move to the other side. In unison, moving from the center of the core, from the belly button, chin in unison with your chest. Move your whole body to the left. Inhale. And then exhale, return to neutral. Now let's cross our right leg over our left leg. If you want to, you can hug your shoulder, or your knee up against your chest, moving it towards your left shoulder. And then look over your right shoulder. So now we are starting kind of our first hip opener of the day. I said earlier, given that we are working on the Sacral Chakra, that we will have some hip opening. So here you go, here's some hip opening. So just enjoy that stretch along the outside of your right hip as we look out over our right shoulder, pulling our right knee up against our left shoulder,
hugging our thigh, hugging our knee to our body. Again, sit up nice and tall. Don't allow your lower back to round. That's very good. Go ahead and release that. Place your right foot down. Pick up your left knee, hugging it across the body towards the right shoulder as you look out over, crossing your leg. Sorry, I forgot to tell you that part. That's a little awkward if your foot is on the inside of your thigh. But putting your left foot on the outside of your right thigh, hugging your thigh and your knee to your chest, pulling your knee towards your right shoulder as you look out over your left shoulder, encouraging a fabulous, fabulous stretch all along your left hip. And this is such a safe way to stretch out your hips. Just make sure that your back is straight, that your crown is tall, and that your back is long. No rounding of the spine. Very good. Now, let's encourage a slightly deeper twist. So take our foot, place it over our leg, and if you find it available, place your elbow on the inside, on the outside of your left knee. So, your left elbow on the outside of your right knee. Go ahead and reach back. You don't have to yank yourself back, but you are anchoring your arm against your leg as you turn your body. Movement is still coming from the core. Your sternum is moving to the right. Your right shoulder is pulling back. Your left shoulder is pulling forward. Go ahead and unravel that twist. Place your right foot down. Cross your left leg over your right. Take your right elbow, anchor it on the outside of your left knee, placing your hand on the chair behind you. Using a little bit of anchoring of your elbow against your knee to encourage a twist. Make sure that your back is tall and straight as you enter into the twist. Make sure that the twist is coming from the center of your core here. And honestly, I think it feels really nice. Let's go ahead and twist forward. Now let's do some seated pigeon. So you can sit further back in your chair if you want to. Take your right ankle and cross it over your left leg. Actually, I need to sit a little bit more forward. You have to play with the chair and adjust your seating in it in a way that works for you. But now that we have opened up the hips a little bit, actually sitting like this creates very little tension, because a lot of times I have tension on this knee. When you have tension in your knees, a lot of times it's because the hip itself is actually not open. So just to be aware of that, and one of the ways that you protect the knee and reduce that tension is by flexing your foot backwards and particularly pulling your toes towards your knee, engaging this muscle alongside the outside of your shin. So go ahead and sit up good and tall. Place your right hand under your knee to support it, and then start to lean forward, drawing your heart center forward to have that nice back of the hip stretch that you get with pigeon pose. This is also a pose that you can do against the wall. And maybe Wednesday morning we'll use the wall a lot in our practice to show ways that you can use the wall for support and for teaching alignment. I had a wonderful private session yesterday, and we did a lot of work against the wall. Particularly, we did camel against the wall. And it really, really, really encouraged a nice, gentle fold of the back, not fold, but an arch at the back, opening of the whole front body without a lot of stress. We both agreed it felt very, very good, and we felt wonderful, particularly our lower back. After that practice, we spent a lot of time on our lower back. Okay. Now, if you want to curl into this, since we're already down here, You can bind your hands together and just draw a little bit more into it if you want. Go ahead and rise up. Place your right foot on the floor. Take your left foot, crossing your left ankle over your right knee. It says how you feel. One side might feel different than the other. This is always, has been, ever since I was a child, my more open side. So I try not to exploit it. I want my right side to open up as much as my left side. But we'll do the same thing here. Place your left hand underneath your knee to support it. Flex your toes and bring your pinky toes back towards your knee, flexing that muscle alongside your calf. All right, go ahead and rise up on your inhale. And then your exhale, start to fold over that leg, drawing your heart center forward as you go. Leading with your chin helps as a nice reminder. You go as far as feels good to you. And when you've arrived at what you might call your destination, you can allow your head to drop and relax. A little bit of humility in this pose, and that's a good thing. There's a lot of chaos going on these days. Sometimes it helps us to remember to keep the perspective that we are one piece of everything. And these poses where we drop our head are kind of that reminder. I'm clasping my hands now, a little bit of a bind as I draw more into my pose. But it helps to remember that we don't have control. We have to relinquish that control. It's for the betterment of us and those around us. Influence what we can, be a force of good in our circle of influence. Go ahead and sit all the way up now. Oh boy, doesn't that feel lovely. Okay, so I think that we can wrap up our final 10 minutes with doing a little bit of sun salutation using our chair, just like we did last week. So I'm going to move my blocks out of the way. And I'm going to turn my chair to the side. Very nice. I'm going to stand firmly in front of my chair. Go ahead and raise the shoulders up and back down, stacking my shoulders over my hips, moving into my back body plane to stand in Tadasana. And when we stand in Tadasana, sometimes we feel like we're leaning backwards, but that's what's so amazing is we're just lining up our body. Inhale our hands up, and then exhale, swan dive forward, placing our hands on the chair, allowing our chin to rest on the chair. That's our forward fold. Exhale into a flat spine, or inhale into a flat spine, I'm sorry. Exhale down. And then move back into downward facing dog by placing our feet kind of just beyond the mat and moving our hips back in space, stretching out our shoulders, still holding on to the front of the chair, stretching out our hamstrings, stretching out our shoulders, allowing our heart center to start to move towards the mat. As you're in this pose, engage your root lock by pulling your sits bones together. Engage your solar plexus lock by pulling your belly button into the spine. That way we have safety while we're extending. Very nice. On the inhale, move forward into plank. So we're moving our hips forward and then ultimately down as we pull our heart center up and pull our shoulder blades back. So we're engaging all the muscles of our spine, of our solar plexus, and I suppose some spinal muscles too. Inhale, and then on the exhale, bring your elbows into your ribs as you drop your chest, and then pull it through pulling our hips against the chair into upward facing dog. Curl back a little bit. And then exhale, moving our heels back. We'll go back into downward facing dog. Ah, feel that. We can do that again. Inhale forward into plank. Using all your core muscles as you pull your shoulders back and down. And then exhale, bringing elbows to ribs as we lower Chaturanga Dandasana. And then inhale, pull it all the way through so your head's probably hitting the back of the chair. Into upward facing dog. Our hips are firmly against the chair now. And then exhale back into downward facing dog. Ah, that feels really quite good. And then inhale again into that plank. Exhale, drop our elbows into our ribs as we lower down to the chair for Chaturanga. And then inhale into upward facing dog, pulling our hip bones close to the chair, shoulders back and down, opening up the throat. And then exhale, moving back into downward facing dog. Very nice. So go ahead and drop our knees to the floor. And let's just engage in just a little bit of the camel, holding onto the sides of the chair. We're up high on our knees. Lift our heart center up. And then exhale, allow our upper back to curl back. Our heart like a string still being drawn towards the ceiling, up and out of our hips as we arch our back just slightly. And then exhale, drawing your chin to chest, rise up, sit back down on your heels. And maybe you want to push your chair forward just a little bit as we go into child's pose. You can hang on to the legs of your chair while you do that. And to encourage a shoulder stretch, you can even rise your hands up on the chair while you're stretching out your lower back and stretching out your shoulders at the same time. It's entirely up to you. That's very nice. So let's go ahead and rise up. Bring our legs in front, forward. Let's do a quick staff pose to encourage alignment, encourage strength before we move on. So in staff pose, your legs are straight out in front of you. You're sitting up nice and tall. Your shoulders are back and down. You've engaged your solar plexus muscles, all your sideways muscles, and you are moving back slightly in space, or at least it feels like it. Just hold this for a moment. You can have your hands down at your sides. You can have them sitting on top of your thighs. I prefer them on top of my thighs. But down at your sides, you can at least have a little bit of support. Not a whole lot though, because your body's sitting nice and tall. Very good. Let's go ahead, bend our legs as we bring our hips forward and bring our calves up on top of our chair. Favorite part of the routine, getting a nice hip release while we're allowing our legs to rest on the chair. Go ahead and find what's comfortable for you as we settle into Shavasana. So you might wiggle your shoulders a little bit to create some space for your upper body and your neck. Go ahead and turn your arms so that your hands are facing the ceiling. Your arms are alongside your body. Let's start getting into the breath and start to come into a state of relaxation, of calmness. So we're slowing down the breath a little bit. Take a moment to draw some attention to the crown of your head. Relax all of the muscles on the top of the skin, on top of the head. Relax the skin across the forehead and soften all the lines. Imagining your eyebrows are kind of melting back towards your ears, just so relaxed and opening up, leaving plenty of space between the eyebrows. Imagine that your eyes are very heavy. When they're so heavy, they have to be closed and they're falling deeply into your eye sockets. Imagine all of your facial muscles are smoothing out, relaxing. Where's your tongue right now? If your tongue is high up in your mouth, draw it down, allow it to rest away from the roof of the mouth. Keeping your lips together, allow your jaw to open slightly, relaxing your jaw. Relax all the muscles of your neck, the back of your neck, and the back of your cranium. And relax your collarbones, allowing your shoulders to fall a little bit more into the floor. Relaxing all your chest muscles and your arm muscles. Holding no tension in your fingers. Drawing your attention towards the middle of your body, your solar plexus area. Relax all of those muscles. Drawing your attention towards your hips. Relaxing your hips. Allowing the floor to very firmly support them. Both hips making equal contact with the floor. Relaxing your thighs. Relaxing all of your lower abdominal muscles. And finally, relaxing your shins and your calves. And relaxing your feet. Go ahead and lay in Shavasana for the next 5 minutes or so. And I will play you some gentle music while you're in this position.
Okay, if you would like to, I'm going to be returning to my chair. So I invite you to start to come back to consciousness, to the present moment. Perhaps that helped you deeply relax. Perhaps you transported to briefly another place, a very pleasant place. Go ahead and sit up gently. Inhale, rise your hands overhead. Exhale your hands down. Inhale, rise your hands up. And then exhale, hands out and down. And then one more inhale up. Exhale, bring your hands to Ajna, your third eye. And bring them down to Anahata, your heart center. Sitting all the way back in your chair, bow your head.
May this be that which helps you begin your week. As you perhaps are starting school this week, maybe you started last week. As you take on the challenges that a new week presents. The light in me sees the light in you. The yogi in me honors the yogi in you. Namaste.